Welcome to the Ringer Gambling Show. I'm your host, Tate Frazier. It's a beautiful Wednesday, and we got a very fun show. Let's say what's up to our guys. Joe House. House, how you feeling after the NBA draft?
I mean, I have to steal this from Joel and the Ringer Tailgate crew. We are raising the roof. I hope Joel let me borrow it. Yeah, that's right.
Joel likes to roll it up first. You know,
he rolls it up, but it's just the one hand. I feel like it's a two-hand, old school OG raise the roof here in Washington D.C. A huge crowd assembled last night at a local venue, a concert hall. The anthem. It was spectacular. Pop when they announced AJ. It was huge. The local media was all over it. Great moment here in the nation's capital. And AJ, to his credit, immediately walked back the demand for the number 3, currently occupied by the $212 million man, Trae Young. I think AJ made the right decision. We're already off on the right foot, Tater.
Good start for DC.
I got to stir up some controversy here at the start of the podcast. Before you got on the Zoom, Joe House, Tate Frazier said that Chicago was the best landing spot by far of any of the top 4.
I just said they were all they would be convinced to go to Chicago. I said DC or Chicago. Calm down.
Wait.
I would like to hear your
I'm not understanding. Landing spot for who?
For all four, I was saying the top 4 guys, like they would be happy to be in Chicago, big market. You know what I mean? But DC, obviously, big market as well.
I mean, okay, I get that market bit. Chicago's been terrible at basketball for 30 years, but sure, if you want to go suck, if you just want to go, I mean, Washington can't really point to a lot of successes that differentiated it from Chicago over that same period, but anyway.
Battles in the Eastern Conference. We love to see
I have dropped the dynamite onto the podcast. Here we go. Look, I defended DC. Raheem also last week was saying that he thinks the Wizards are a contender in the East in the next 5 years.
Why
I feel
not?
like that's a good timeline. That's the right timeline. Maybe not this upcoming year, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it all. We got a fun show. We got the Giannis trade we're going to hit. We're going to talk NBA draft, World Cup, some MLB. We'll also do our plays of the day. But we want to start with some news here.
The Ringer Gambling Show is brought to you by FanDuel. Another NBA season is in the books, but the fun doesn't have to stop there, Raheem. No matter the game, FanDuel is still the best place to bet on all your favorite teams from all your favorite sports. Find individual players or bet on the best showdown of the night and build a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It's up to you. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app now and play your game. You have to be 21 or older in select states, 18 or older in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut.
Austin Reaves signs a max with the Los Angeles Lakers. It's official. It's finally done. House, when you saw this news, your reaction to the Austin Reaves signing?
I mean, it felt mandatory. If you're all the way invested in Luka, and they are, and that's the right decision, then we saw, pretty early on, and then it was validated over the course of the season, that the two of them are dynamic. They really help each other. That Reaves-Luka combo can be really effective. And in some respects, they unleash each other. It's unexpected that they would be so complementary, but they are. And so resigning Reaves, priority number 1. I'm not surprised at all. Great job by him. The biggest contract in the history of the NBA for an undrafted player. He earned it. I mean, I think, there is everything you've looked at since he's arrived in the league and pushed his way into starting lineup with the Lakers has been just super impressive. So good job by the Lakers. I don't know whether or not that means that LeBron is definitely coming back to the Lakers, but I feel like it's a step in the right direction as far as that goes.
What are the odds, House, that LeBron is a Laker this time when the season starts in October?
See, I personally would handicap it as pretty high. Like, I think it's a good 75-25. He loves LA. His family loves LA. LA is, still the center of the entertainment world. And they had a very nice, sort of experience going around this most recently completed season with this Lakers. It's an all-star show, right? Like, everybody wants to go to every Lakers game. And I don't know, other than, a situation where he would be matched up with guys, if he wanted to play with Steph Curry at the end of his career, and they brought in Anthony Davis and, Jimmy Butler at some point. Probably Butler wouldn't be on that team, but, they have a relationship. He and Draymond get along. The draft pick that they just brought in will be very interesting in Lindenberg, but something weird like that, but otherwise I think LeBron's coming back to the Lakers.
What happens if he does come back and Luka's not happy about it? Because Luka was kind of promised this was the summer of change, right? This is when the seasons change. This is when we make it Luka's team. We put it in your identity. But if we bring LeBron back, I feel like that's saying the opposite, right?
Well, but at a certain point, Luka barely played last season too. Like, he missed so much time.
What makes the Lakers better next season? What is going to help them be competitive next season? Who are the Lakers going to bring in if they don't,
Kessler seems like the talk of the town.
Well, that is a piece that would be an overall enhancer. But if you just look at that team and say we're swapping out LeBron and bringing in Kessler, what's the ceiling for the Lakers?
Yeah. I don't think it's the Western Conference Finals or the Finals. So, and that obviously would be the end game for Luka Doncic at this point. So it is fascinating, but a lot of conversations to be had. I think LeBron wants to be in LA. I just think he wants to play hardball a little bit and make them want him. And, it's a bit of a tug of war. So a lot of PR ahead for sure, but a fascinating situation. Another fascinating situation in the East, Giannis Antetokounmpo. We have not talked about this. Obviously the big trade, the big news. He is officially finally moved after 20 months of a saga of, trade predictions and all type of stuff. But Giannis, Bobby Portis go to Miami for Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez, Khalil Ware, Kasparis, Yakuchonis, and obviously the number 13 pick who they got in the draft last night, which turned out to be Nate Amint. Dabbundo, when you saw this trade, were you relieved that this is finally over? And what are your thoughts on what the Heat look like with Giannis?
I'm glad that it wasn't Giannis to Boston. As a Sixers fan, I didn't want to see that. We didn't see it. I don't think Miami is actually a contender to win the East as currently constructed. I mean, who are their guards? Who are their shooters? How are they going to run a modern NBA offense centered around Bam and Giannis? I know that Heat culture gets a lot of respect in circles, but this team looks really short. And I would still like, if you're giving me two options, it's like you can have Miami at plus 550 or Indiana at 14-1 to win the East. Like, I'll take Indiana 3 times in a row. So I think the next domino to fall is almost the more interesting one to me. And it's like, does Jaylen Brown get traded? And all the inclinations are yes. Who does he get traded for? Because it sounds like Boston in most trades is going to have to take some type of step back in 2026-7 if they're going to move off of Brown. Like, I don't think there's just another star waiting to walk in the door for Jaylen Brown. So the fact that Brown wasn't in the trade, they didn't get Giannis, probably the biggest domino. And then the biggest domino left to fall is, where does Jaylen Brown play basketball in 26-27?
That's kind of the genius of this move, by the way, because Boston gets completely blown up because of this. He gets dangled in the trade, Jaylen Brown. We get his reaction publicly, and obviously he doesn't seem very happy at this point. And now it seems like they have to move on. And so for Boston's sake, I mean, they put him out there. It doesn't work out, so it's kind of a double whammy there for them, House. As far as like Giannis and building out this team, Norm Powell probably doesn't re-sign, even though I've seen him there. Pelle Larson's probably their starting shooting guard next year. Davion Mitchell is their starting point guard. They're going to have to fill in with a lot of vet minimums. Is it even possible to build a team around Giannis and Bam at this point, House?
No. There's no evidence in the modern NBA that's going to be successful. You have to have guys that can shoot the 3 ball, and you better have more than 2. You need at least like 3 guys that can legit, absolutely shoot the lights out. Miami took, ironically, half a decade to figure it out, completely revamp their offense, move to a high-paced offense and a lot of shooters above the break, and push themselves inside the top 15 in offensive efficiency last year. And you know where they ended up? 10th in the playoff, in the play-in, missing the playoffs once again. So, this is the, challenge for this team. Who's going to shoot the ball? Because I thought for sure that this footprint included Norm Powell. It's the only way for this to be a credible team. They're going to be great defensively. They will be
top 5
for sure. let's not, underserve Bam. Bam can shoot the three. He had a whole bunch of them against Washington.
Giannis has moments where he can knock down some threes. Also, some moments where he airballs them. So I mean, it kind of goes, in and
that's
out.
Not
right?
That's not your offense. That's not your bread and butter, right? Like, so who are those two guys? Going to look to help that offense really cook. I have Miami going from the 10th place, up to about 5th or something like that at best, because the East is better. The East is better. This is part of the realization and the recognition that's been occurring over these weeks leading into the draft and now post-draft. Many teams in the East, I mean, it's going to be a hard up-road climb for my Washington team. There aren't teams bottoming out. This new lottery system that's being put in place has teams looking towards, trying to compete much sooner rather than tanking timelines. And so we had 10 teams trying to tank last year. I don't think anybody is going to be like, we are definitely in a tank mode in this upcoming season. There will be teams,
I got a few.
Yeah, well, there are teams that suck. Brooklyn's going to suck again. Milwaukee is horrendous. And that's the piece of this trade that I feel the worst about. I feel bad for the Milwaukee fans, just to be on the other side of it. The end of the Giannis era was losing the first round, missing the playoffs. That's a bummer. And it's because he couldn't be healthy come playoff time, and they never could figure out the right pieces to put around him. They mortgaged the future there in Milwaukee through trying to bring in Dame and then a last-ditch effort with the dumb Miles Turner acquisition, and it landed them absolutely nowhere, which was, definitely one in the realm of possibility. Here they are now hitting reset. Well, they're 5 years away, if we're being generous, from the playoffs. Who do they have on their roster that they can turn into something that looks like, viable draft picks? Who on their roster is going to be on this team in, I'm not going to say 5 years. Who's going to be on this team in 3 years? I mean, Jaquez?
I'm not a Nate Ament fan at all.
Nor am I. Yeah. You know who is? And speaking of people I feel sorry for, Burries. He'll be on the team in 3 years because that dude can flat out ball. I mean, but that's where you're at. You're counting on your 10th pick, who's not Giannis Antetokounmpo, as a 10th pick, right? It's Braden Burries. So, congrats.
All right, let's play a game. We'll go this or that. So the Heat finished 10th last year. Going into 2027, Heat or Hornets?
For what?
Like, who wins more games next year?
I'd still take the Heat, even though I love my Hornets.
It's going to be close.
It's going to be close. I think they're kind of in the same range. I think it's like this, 4 to 7 range. I feel like
Heat or Magic?
I'll take the Magic.
I'll take the Magic, yeah.
Heat or Sixers?
Heat.
Heat or Hawks?
Hawks.
I'll go Heat.
Heat or Raptors?
Heat.
That's fair. It's a tie.
And then so think about that, right? They just gave up all of that, and then Joe House said, "Yeah, they're about even with the Raptors."
That's what I think.
So we are quite literally as a podcast. You are lighting money on fire if you're betting Miami at 5-1 to win.
That's where you're absolutely right. You know who you didn't mention? The Pacers.
Well, I was going to say them next.
Okay. Sorry.
Pacers or Heat?
I think Pacers.
I think Pacers too.
And then Cavs or Heat?
Definitely Cavs.
Celtics or Heat?
Celtics.
I'll take Celtics as well.
Knicks?
Come on.
Knicks. Come on.
Pistons or Heat?
To me, Pistons.
Yeah, I think Pistons.
So you had them both in the play-in.
I had them like 6. Yeah,
you both
6
had
or
them in the
7.
play-in. You both had 6 teams above them. You both had Hawks, Cavs, Knicks, Celtics, Pistons, and Pacers above. And
I like
maybe
them
Raptors,
for the next season.
Maybe Magic. So it's literally like
you're
like, okay. I mean, how funny is it going to be when the Miami Heat are 46 and 36 next year, and they find themselves as the 7 seed playing in the 7-8 game in the next play-in? It's like, oh boy, and then hopefully Giannis is healthy for that one.
It's literally what they're staring in the face.
It's tough. I mean, I feel like Chris Middleton is a guy they'll probably try to bring in on a vet minimum. They'll try to put the pieces around him. I saw Jaden Ivey was lobbying to get down there as kind of like an Oladipo 2.0 sort of situation. But like they're gonna have to take swings on those guys, and when you do that, things can go awry really quickly. I did want to track to the future and just look at the odds here. Boston's still the favorite to win the East, plus 220. Knicks plus 280. Miami third best odds, plus 550. Detroit plus 800. Indiana plus 1400. Dabbundo, you said you like the Pacers there. Is it shocking that Boston is still the favorite with all this stuff going on?
No, I don't think so. I think the market has always loved the Celtics. A full season of Jason Tatum. I understand why they'd be priced roughly even with the Knicks. There is a little bit of the post-championship tax, I think, that goes on some teams, and the Knicks, could probably coast their way through the regular season again, like they did for most of the season. It'll be interesting to see if they can defend their NBA Cup title. I know that's something that they take very seriously. But otherwise, yeah, I'm fine with Boston being the favorite. I'm just not fine with Miami being the third favorite or Detroit being the fourth favorite.
So you like the Pacers there as far as value, and then the Knicks, I mean, plus 280. That feels like some value, right, House?
I prefer to wait. I mean,
I would
think
wait.
ultimately, that's the right side, the right play. But let's let the regular season play out. If they just win in the low 50s again, and you have teams, in the high 50s, low 60s, the way that Boston unexpectedly leapt all the way up, the value came in because Boston exceeded expectations and Detroit exceeded expectations, and then the Knicks entering the playoffs, this recently completed season, became valuable. I got them at 4-1 to win the East, and that's much better than plus 280 now. So the right thing to do is just sit tight. But Dabbundo and I are on the same page with the Pacers. I mean, that's an insane number, 14 to 1. I think that they are as formidable. There's still a move to be made for them. They still have a room with a mid-level exception to bring somebody in, but this is assuming Halliburton's return is restored to full health. I mean, that's obviously the absolute mandatory predicate to all of this. Then the Pacers are super live at 14 to 1, and I think the Boston thing. I honestly think that Brown and Tatum are going to be on the team together this upcoming season.
Oh.
I don't think they're gonna. It's not their way, the Boston way, to just blow it up because it feels like people's feelings might be hurt. I don't care about that, and I don't think they do either. And both of those guys just won a championship. It was just 2 years ago. So I think that they can sit down, they can be adults about it, they can talk about what the goals are for the team, they can talk about roles. They have to do something personnel wise. They can't play Vucevic again. He was unplayable in the playoffs, the one round that they played in, and they need size. I thought that
Embiid kind of exposed their size. Yep.
Exactly right. I thought they might make a big jump in that direction. Sanak is who they drafted, right, Tater?
Yep, Chris Sanak Jr., which is more of a 4, but I mean, you bulk him out a little bit. He could slide over. He's a big kid.
Yeah.
He's a Celtics 5.
Yeah, there you go. Celtics 5 is a good way to put it. I do think it is fascinating because Brown seems like one of those guys that has just been dangled around for quite some time, and we've had these trade talks ever since those guys have been together. So it does feel like, that conversation can be nipped in the bud pretty quickly. So I think you're right about that. So the Celtics could, and honestly, he's better with the chip on his shoulder. So maybe there is a little bit of gamesmanship going on behind the scenes with the Boston Celtics. I did want to talk about another team in the East that did get a very strange trade. Julius Randle dumped to the Brooklyn Nets. Claxton going to Chicago. Minnesota says get rid of this contract. What is Brooklyn doing, House? Like, what are your thoughts on what Brooklyn is up to?
I have absolutely no idea. I mean,
do they know is, I guess, the larger question.
There is no evidence whatsoever. I mean, Simmons tried to start, let's look at Sean Marks thing, and my immediate reaction is like, that's a dismal, abysmal situation. I don't know what their goals are. I don't know how they have Michael Porter. Are they just intending to trade? They got Julius Randle so they could trade him. They got Michael Porter Jr. so they could trade him. What are they doing? What's the goal? They had 5 first-round picks last year. They went guard heavy, And I think they ended up with half of an NBA player. It depends on your point of view on Demick. Whether
I think they have one combined. I think Drake Powell
Trey,
and Yegor Dimon together is one player.
Traore, maybe. Yeah. I guess, right.
That's right.
1.25 out of 5 draft picks. And then they got a guy with a bad back. So best of luck to them.
Very strange, Dabbundo, what's happening in Brooklyn. And it felt like this was a draft for them. Last year, I remember the McDonald's game. It was in Brooklyn, and it felt like they were going to get the number one pick potentially, and guys would want to go to Brooklyn. They have these great facilities, but they're kind of just stuck in neutral, I guess, is the best way to put it.
That would be nice, I would argue.
Maybe stuck in reverse, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, your house mentioned how many teams are going to be tanking next year. It might not be by choice, but Brooklyn is probably the number one contender in the East for next season. And I feel bad for Julius Randle. Goes from a contender to another contender in a big trade. There was a lot of debate. Knicks, Wolves, who won the trade? We went back and forth on this. Cat goes and is the hero for the Knicks in the title, brings the title to New York. And now you get traded back to New York, but not the Knicks. You got to go play for the Nets, cross town in Brooklyn. That's about as bad as it gets.
Yeah, tough racket for Julius Randle.
Tough run.
Yeah, and it does feel like they had the Jaden McDaniels clip where, he didn't seem too upset about Julius Randle leaving. It felt like there was some weird locker room stuff at the end of the year with Minnesota, and they get rid of him for nothing. I mean, I guess they get money off the books, so they're going to try to they pay Ayo Dosunmu to come back, which is a big thing for them, but they still have to figure out how to replace Randle and a second scorer there for Anthony Edwards. And now Anthony Edwards, Giannis is traded, so now Anthony Edwards is the first guy that is on the move, and disgruntled star up next, it feels like, right, Dabbundo?
Yes, but also, what if I told you 3 or 4 years ago that Julius Randle was going to end up being one of the best players on a New York basketball team? You'd have been like, wow, what a great career development for him. He's doing great.
2021, Julius Randle looked great. Yeah,
he did.
He was on fire.
F. Trae Young, famously. But now we're in this sad space. I mean, I don't know. And Edwards for Jaylen Brown. Who says no?
Minnesota.
Yeah, if I was Minnesota, I would try to figure out how to get Jaylen Brown there with Anthony Edwards, if possible.
That's the play. Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Without giving up McDaniels, I guess. But I don't know if Boston has any interest. Yeah. Rudy Gobert doesn't sound as enticing for Jaylen Brown, I would suspect.
I mean, the Celtics offense wouldn't work with Rudy. They don't have the spacing.
He doesn't shoot the three well enough. Also, Minnesota can't be in the business of moving on from their giant big man, because team in the West better have a giant big man to take on the giant big man down in San Antonio.
Especially the big brother to Wemby.
The Thunder drafted the new Wemby stopper, right? That's what everybody keeps saying.
How many Wemby stoppers will we have in this league?
And we have, Rudy has already proven himself as the Jokic stopper. So if he's able to refine his game to become the Wemby stopper too, that guy's a very valued asset.
Hall of Famer.
All of a sudden.
Hall of Famer.
Defensive Player of the Year. All checking out at this point. You brought up the draft, Dabbundo. Let's talk about it. We got a little bit of a draft recap. Our top 4 was pretty chalky. Honestly, this first 15 picks were almost as expected. Morez Johnson going to the Mavericks was probably the biggest shocker, but he was in that conversation. AJ goes 1, Peterson 2, Boozer 3, Wilson 4. House, I'll go to you first. How do you feel about AJ the next day?
I'm thrilled. I was thrilled around the entirety of the build up, the month leading to the moment, and everything that I saw out of him in terms of interviews. You just have to remember how young he is. He's 18 going on 19. This is and he's showing the poise. He's showing the right kind of sentiment and the ability to sit down with all kinds of different folks and answer all kinds of different questions and just be up for the moment. And that level of maturity, to me, speaks well of your forecast for his development on the basketball court, because it's not, when you're the number 1 overall pick or in the top 3, it's not just showing up and playing the basketball. You have all this other stuff that goes along with it. And can you handle that and navigate it? He really did a great job at that, and that's what made me especially gratified to have him here in Washington. Now the hard part starts, because this Washington team is completely inexperienced at winning, and they have a bunch of young guys that don't have a long track record of winning at professional basketball, and they have a head coach who has a reputation as being a great development coach, but not a great track record of winning. Trae Young as the straw that will stir this drink. Not a great track record of playing, alongside young up and coming talent and nurturing them and helping them along in their careers. It's going to be a grand experiment. But people in Washington are just thrilled to have the idea of a basketball team that is going to show up, and you know what? They're going to try and win the basketball game. That's
Man,
thrilling. That's thrilling.
What a buzzkill from House
thrilling.
there.
What do you mean?
What?
It's the hard part time. It's time for the dose of reality.
You're supposed to be inspiring here. You're supposed to be telling me why the Wizards are going to win the East in the next 3 years. This is the moment that changed everything.
Well, you have to glass half full, all the unknowns, and it's fine to do that. We're taping this too early in the day for me to have had 2 martinis and do that glass half full part of this. We'll
save it for later.
This is the sober part. This is the gambling show. This is where the money comes out of my pocket on outcomes that I think are going to happen. I mean, Washington.
All right. Let's do this or that for all 15 teams in the East. Wizards or
65-1 to win the East next year, House.
Nope.
You like that?
Sure don't. No, 6,500 to 1, and I would consider it.
What will their win total be?
That's the real interesting thing, right? And I haven't looked to see what the early movement is on the
guess the lines, House.
Yeah, I'm going to set it at 41.5. I think they're capable of being a 500 team, but maybe that is the irrational exuberance speaking. Because they haven't won 20 games in however many years it's been in a row. But the leap is coming, and there were indications of some really competent offense last season, especially with CJ McCollum at the helm. They won 5 of 7 games in a stretch of December into January, and they were beating good teams. But I'm just saying, like, if you're trying to say,
it's just funny. The
what's
NBA
it look
is so
like?
Funny.
What would it look like? What might it look like when you're trying to project? And
they had a good stretch. They won 5 out of 7 in January.
That's true. And then they traded CJ McCollum immediately after they won the 5th game. That's an absolute fact. You can look it up.
Too much winning.
We've won too many games. It's time to get this guy out of here.
Get this guy out of here.
We're tired of winning.
It's a fact.
Last time the Wizards won 40 games, 2018.
That sounds right. They made the playoffs with Russell Westbrook leading the way in 2021, I guess it was.
That was a fun team. That was a fun moment.
Well, because Russell Westbrook showed up with all the professionalism in the world and, took Beta Beal, he was the alpha to Beta Beal, and he honestly, and I'm sure that if you sat down with Denny Avdia, he would just say this right to your face. He taught Denny Avdia how to be a professional. He set the standard for Denny Avdia. Denny Avdia's success this most recent season is directly linked to that 2021 experience that he had with Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair point. And he's been great, obviously, after he moved on. And I do think if they get in the play-in game, that's just a fun season. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, there's some optimism there.
Yes.
There's a chance they can make some noise in the play-in. And also for Alex Sarr's sake, AJ's perfect to come in there. He can shoulder some of that face of the franchise stuff. You forget a little bit about him being the number 2 pick. You take some of that burden away from him. And I think Sarr will be a beneficiary of the situation. And AJ said that Sarr reached out to him. Keyshawn George reached out to him. Trey Johnson. So there's some nice pieces on that team. Will Riley, I'm a big fan of as well. So some young pieces on the Wizards that are fun.
They still have Bub Carrington, right?
Yeah. We love Bub.
He's fine.
Stud.
He's good.
He's a fun player.
Okay.
Any other draft stuff, Dabbundo, that stuck out to you as you kind of went through the draft?
Well, Tate, you're the college guy. So how excited should I be about LeBaron, a.k.a. my friends are calling him LeBron Philon?
You should be very excited. I kind of fell for him as he was falling there. I thought the Raptors needed some help in the backcourt, so I assumed he would go 19 to the Raptors. They take a swing on the analytics darling, Mr. Graves. So I didn't, suspect that was going to be the case. But yeah, Philon is a perfect kind of maxi backup. He's got great ball handling. I think he's one of the best ball handlers in the draft. I think him and Dalen Swain probably be my 2 guys as far as handling the basketball that I'm a real big fan of. So Philon's got a lot of upside. He's a little bit slight of frame, but I think this is a nice kind of chip. Every one of these guys has a chip on their shoulder, apparently. But I think Philon has a reason to have one. He went back last year. He developed a 3-point shot. So I think if you're a Sixers fan, you should be happy about Philon coming through.
Yeah,
we're still salty about the McCain trade,
well,
so we need this guy to be good.
Yeah. That's the entire. I was going to ask you that question. He basically is the replacement for McCain. You would rather have McCain and rather have had the opportunity to try and draft somebody that will be able to give the minutes, because it doesn't seem like the backup center situation is settled, right? That's you need size because Embiid's going to play his usual 35 to 40 games, right?
And look, Andre Drummond gave him some decent minutes this year. He developed a jump shot, but yeah, that's the big question mark. It's been a problem literally every single season of the Embiid era. The famous Greg Monroe minutes, the Dwight Howard minutes, the Andre Drummond multiple times minutes, the B-ball Paul minutes. It's been a tough sledding for the Sixers trying to cover the non-Embiid minutes throughout his career. So,
well, let's do it. You just put me on the hot seat. What's the over-under for the 76ers this upcoming season?
42.5.
Okay.
That's my guess. It was last year. It was 42.5. They went over.
They won 45 games last season.
45 games. Again, so many of the records got so tainted by this tanking epidemic.
Fair enough.
But they were 45-37 with like an even point differential.
Yeah.
I mean, they showed some life in the playoffs too. I mean, that Celtic series, you finally could believe in something, you know what I mean? And obviously, VJ will be better year 2. You expect him to take a bit of a leap. Maxey is a solidified star at this point. So, I mean, they have all the pieces. Embiid being healthy is obviously the biggest one and the biggest question mark. House, I wanted to ask, in your mind, outside of, I mean, maybe you can do one of these top 4 teams, but who won the draft in your opinion, as far as what team came away with feeling like they were the champs?
I love what Memphis did. Now Cam Boozer landed there for them, which what was the best hoped for outcome. They obviously would have taken Peterson. I think they wouldn't have taken Caleb Wilson at 3. I think they still would have taken Peterson, but they didn't have to have that hard decision to make because
and ruffled Ja's feathers by doing that. Yeah.
Well, it's at this point. Are you worried about that ruffle? Are you worried about Ja's feathers?
I don't know. I need Verno to come chime in on that. Verno gets upset when you talk about Ja in that way.
I thought he's given up.
I think he has, right?
I'm pretty sure he has.
Yeah.
They go back and forth, these Memphis fans. I mean, I feel like Ja could, get it together, hopefully, maybe for his own trade value. But yeah, I mean, I think Boozer was just perfect as far as like the maturation of that group. Cedric Coward is such a mature guy. Boozer is such a mature guy. I mean, I feel like Edey, if you can keep him healthy, it does feel like a nice foundation for what Memphis has moving forward.
And then that kid Lopez from Mexico. Now, Fran Fraschilla, I believe, was Lopez the first international player drafted? I think he was.
It was 20 straight college picks.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Hannes Steinbach counts as international because he's German, but he played at Washington, so college kid.
Yeah, okay. And Fraschilla was adamant that Lopez is a lottery pick. Like he belonged inside. He thought he was potentially top 10 talent from the way he was speaking. So if that's the case, and it's clearly, you're saying for Memphis they see something in that guy's ability to add. But I like the young core that they have there. This is a quick pivot for them. They just have to settle this Ja question. But I liked what Memphis did.
Yeah, me too. Jalen Wells, Cam Spencer, they got some good pieces on that team. Dabbundo, who won the draft in your estimation?
It's lame to say the Thunder, but I really think it's important that they went out and got another big, because I think Chet Holmgren is on lemon watch going into 2026, 2027. After what Wemby did to him, I really think there's some concerns about like how he matches up in the interior, and with Hartenstein potentially out, they needed another big to get in there, and I think Mara's going to be an awesome two-way player. He works well, I think, off SGA. I think this is going to be a really great addition to a team that really didn't need all the help.
Yeah, and they got Thomas Sorber as well coming back. Sorber is a really, really good player, so I think he's going to be a nice piece for them. You got Chet. Now he can pass some of those responsibilities over to Sorber and over to Mara, so it does make sense. It saves Chet from that headache. It seemed like he wanted no piece of Wemby. So now I think that'll at least save face for him a little bit. And what did you guys think about Dusty May's reaction, House, to all these draft picks? A little bit delayed. He was excited, though, and I feel like it got very misconstrued that he was upset, but I think that was just his way of showing excitement.
I agree. That was my read on it. He was like, we got 3 Michigan guys in the top 12, right?
Yeah.
3 of that's real validation for what he was able to pull off. They clearly had the talent, but that's not enough. I mean, Florida lost. Florida had the talent too. Florida lost to Iowa in the round of 32. I'm still bitter about it and bringing it up because they had Florida going much further.
Fulgaris.
But the reaction by May was on the money, and the very interesting thing to me, you might have put this in the thread, Tater. Were you the one who observed that it's interesting? He had his choice of University of Michigan championship winning player. He could have had Lindeborg. He could have had Ade. He chose Morez. That was kind of an interesting thing, but it makes tons of sense to me. When you think about a new coach coming in and Dallas going through a complete culture reset, the culture element with Morez and your boy Coop, that's pretty strong. That's pretty strong young nucleus in terms of guys that are going to do all the right things and make the right decisions, play the right way, and conduct themselves the right way inside the organization.
Yeah, and he's like a blue collar kind of everyday. He called him an everyday guy. I feel like that's what Morez Johnson is. And like as far as physicality, matching next to Cooper Flagg, you can take some of that away from him by shouldering it with Morez Johnson. Morez could play the 5 if he needs to. Just a very physical big. And during all the draft lead up, every single Dusty May interview, he was just kind of praising and lauding the fact that he loves Morez Johnson's mentality. So it makes a lot of sense. It might not be I said he was the best player. People were upset about that. Maybe it was his favorite player of the 3. But yeah, number 9, whatever the semantics are, I think it's a really nice pick for them at the end of the day. So Dusty May makes his stamp early on in his career. Dabbundo, any last draft thoughts you have here?
Why did they move it to Tuesday? I don't understand. Good question.
I think they were scared of the U.S. World Cup game, right?
Exactly. That is a great transition to the real time I'm excited for.
The real talk. Let's get into it. World Cup. Tuesday recap. We had some interesting games here. England-Ghana. That was an incredible performance by Ghana. A great reaction from all the players there, and England even showing them a lot of respect after the game. Portugal against Uzbekistan. Obviously 5-0. That was a rout. Colombia gets a nice win over DR Congo. Croatia needed that win over Panama. They get that done. Dabbundo, what's happening right now? Like, what's kind of the temperature on the World Cup overall?
I got to stop betting against the witch doctor. Unbelievable. He got me.
The witch doctor's cooking, man.
The witch doctor put in a generational performance. For those who didn't follow it, the Ghanaian witch doctor put a spell on Harry Kane. He said, we're not going to injure Harry, but he will not be scoring against Ghana in this World Cup game. And credit to Carlos Queiroz, who is the new Ghanaian manager. They were so bad in the lead up to the World Cup. They didn't even qualify for the African Cup of Nations. They were losing almost every game. They brought in Queiroz. They said, hey, man, come do your thing. And his thing is to make his teams the most defensive, ugly, uninspiring to watch, but inspiring to see them try to hold off a team like England performance. And they did it. They were excellent defensively. And yet still, the ball comes off the post and it falls to Harry Kane. And Kane sails it over the bar. And all I could think about in that moment was I bet against a Ghanaian witch doctor. So I had no chance. And honestly, I deserve to lose. So that was tough. Ronaldo finally gets on the scoreboard. He joins the superstar watch party, goal party. He gets 2. But ultimately, the most entertaining game of the night I thought was Colombia DR Congo. Really good end-to-end stuff in the second half, especially after Colombia was one-way traffic. Colombia gets the win, sets up Saturday night, 7:00. Colombia and Portugal in Miami Gardens at the Hard Rock. Winner wins the group and gets a much easier path. Loser probably has to play Spain in the round of 16. Colombia just needs a draw. And like I said, it's Colombia and it's Portugal in Miami Gardens. The crowds are going to be amazing. I'm excited for that match. We've got 24 matches, Tate, starting 3:00 Eastern on Wednesday, going all the way through Saturday night at midnight. 24 soccer matches in 4 days. It's like our own form of March Madness, but in June.
Now you know why the draft was on Tuesday. There's just too much good soccer out there for us to ignore to watch a draft where we're not actually playing any games. So yeah, I mean, it's also fascinating to see Croatia, Ghana, right? To figure out who's going to end up second or potentially first if things play out in that group as well. So I mean, there's some good matchups ahead.
Dabbundo, do you have a bet for each of the 24 matches starting with Wednesday afternoon?
I do not. I wish.
You're the
Should I?
Should we play this or that?
All over. Yeah, seriously. You're in every form of media. You're the World Cup expert. You're out here giving off.
My picks have been pretty average to mediocre, Joe. I don't know.
Well, you taught me an important lesson. Don't bet on any teams that begin with T. But that's directly staring us in the face here with this U.S. matchup now.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Thursday, Turkey, as we now properly pronounce.
Do we really have to call it that?
So I actually think it's Turkiya.
Turkiya. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. I've been going back and forth. I've been consulting with some people on this. Turkiya.
I should have never listened to Alexi Lawless calling him Turkiya. That's right.
Yeah.
Big mistake.
You should have never listened to Alexi Lawless, period. End of sentence. Move on to the next thing.
I'm there for Thierry Henry. That's my guy.
Thierry's an excellent analyst, yes.
Yeah, it's great. So we got USA. I'm going to call him Turkey. Keep it simple. Turkey plus 260 in this game. The U.S. minus 115. A draw is plus 310. Dabbundo, I'll go to you first for the expertise. Like, what do we suspect should happen in this game, and what are we looking forward to?
I got no idea, Tate.
Okay.
No idea. I don't think the U.S. is going to play any of their important players. I doubt we see Pulisic. Maybe he gets in for 20 minutes at the end because they want him to test out the calf and they want to get him some minutes before the knockouts. Balogun's on a yellow. He shouldn't play. Destin Robinson should not play as wingbacks. Tyler Adams should not play. Chris Richards is on a yellow. I don't think he'll play. Like Matt Freese should probably play to get some experience, but for the most part, it's like, all right, let's roll out the boys. Now the question is, their opponents, whatever we're calling them at the moment, what is their pride, right? Turkey has not been to the World Cup in 24 years. They did not score a goal yet. They did not win a match, and they're playing against one of the host nations. I mean, you would think they would show some pride and want to show out in this final game and get something to show for their trips to America. Or is it 1, 2, 3 Istanbul? I don't know. Mykonos. Are they getting ready for their summer vacations?
Dubrovnik, yeah, they're going on some sort of vacation.
Mykonos, Santorini, Istanbul, I don't know. Wherever they're going after this game, they're not staying around. So I think it's really hard to try to handicap this game because, like I said, there's 24 matches. Only 2 of them are truly dead rubbers, where neither team has anything at stake. Argentina, Jordan's already out. Argentina already clinched. USA, Turkey. USA already clinched. Turkey's out. So 22 of the other games matter for something, for at least one of the teams, except for this one. So here we are.
Yeah, it's hard to handicap when that's the case. House, we got a nice little parlay for the people, but is there any other thoughts you have on this game going into it before we get to our parlay?
Well, what Dabbundo just described is exactly the correct formulation for what you're supposed to do here, and that just means you bet the underdog with something small and you bet the draw with something small. You cover off that bit. There's no value whatsoever in betting the U.S. to win outright. That makes no sense whatsoever. And then you look for opportunities the way we're about to with this parlay for guys that are not top of class, top of the what do they call it in terms of what are minutes called in soccer? Dabbundo, what's it called if you play a lot of minutes, or what's that called?
Star player.
Okay, fine.
Top of the first name on the team sheet.
Minutes table. I mean, I'm trying
first
to make
name on the team sheet.
Yeah, right. Team sheet. There we go. Where's my guy Gio Reyna on the team sheet?
Billy Gill said minutos would be that. I think that would be it. All right, as promised.
So you said Gio Reyna. Yeah, I mean, I think Reyna. This is a good opportunity for him to get some run.
Yes,
absolutely.
Exactly. And that's why, go ahead.
Put
Taylor,
Berhalter out there, give him some charity minutes. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
That's
I would love to see. I would love to see Zendejas get a start.
There you go.
The proud Mexican American population, especially in Los Angeles, would definitely love to see some Alejandro Zendejas get some minutes. So I'm rooting for Zendejas to get in there.
Yeah, I like that. Well, let's root for this. Our friends at FanDuel, they want us to put a parlay together. As we mentioned, USA back in action tomorrow after that second game in Seattle against Australia. They won the group. They have it locked up. And here's our favorite picks on FanDuel. We got a 3-leg parlay that we're putting together. Dabbundo, I'll go to you first. What's the first leg of our parlay?
Turkey to score multiple goals. I think the biggest difference in drop-off between starter and not starter in the U.S. is the defense. And I think if you take Chris Richards out, if you take Alex Freeman out, the backups, there's a drop off. Like if Miles Robinson's getting a start, you're going to start to see some holes. And then Tyler Adams doesn't play. They don't really have another defensive midfielder like Tyler Adams. Christian Roldan is somewhat injured. We're not sure if he's going to be fit. So it opens up opportunities for Turkey. And honestly, like this game should be a fun back and forth affair. There's no stakes. And traditionally when the stakes are off, the goals go up in soccer matches. And so I think Turkey to score multiple goals. They've been the running joke of the tournament, or at least one of them they've created. And they've had 62 shots in 2 matches. They've had 3.5 expected goals. They have not yet scored. I think they'll get 1 or 2 here, preferably 2 for our bet, and score multiple times on the great US of A.
There you go. The first Turkey leg, over 1.5 goals for Turkey. House, the second leg, what do you got?
We're calling it the turkey leg. This is so up my alley. I love it. I love turkey legs. The dark meat is where it's at. Everybody knows. I do have a very quick question before we continue on, and it is this. There isn't anything in terms of the seeding for the U.S. where a draw or a win would help position them in some favorable manner. I just want to confirm that, right?
Totally set. The path is set.
Yep. Awesome. Done.
And we may know the round of 32 opponent as early as 5 o'clock today. If there is a winner in Bosnia, Qatar, whoever wins that match will play the United States July 1st in Santa Clara, California. Right next to the electromagnetic station.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, I'm on Gio Reyna. We mentioned him. I like him in this situation. You know, this is an opportunity for guys that haven't been top of the sheet or whatever you're calling it to get that run. And I love his playmaking. I mean, he scored in game 1, and you know that was, you could see how supportive the entire team was around him.
And it was a sexy goal. It was so easy.
The Travella.
Let Gio cook. I'm playing him. There's a price at FanDuel where you can play to score or make an assist, and I like that idea for Reyna. Plus 150 to either a goal or an assist. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's throw it in. That's the second leg, and then the final one I have here, both teams to score. You can get that at minus 158, but you parlay all that together, you got a nice little parlay. And I think, best case scenario here, Turkey 2-1, Reyna scores a goal, and both teams score, and we get to cash in on this parlay. So there you have it. That's our parlay. You feel good about that, Dabbundo?
I do. And at the same time as the USA-Turkey game, we have a classic potentially brewing, Paraguay and Australia. Both teams are incentivized to draw. Right? Wow. And the draw is plus 135 if you're so inclined. It got bet down. It was 2-1. Now it's plus 135. But if both teams draw, they both advance. If Paraguay were to lose, their goal difference gets awfully dicey and they might be in trouble. So that game is one where you could see like a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Handshake deal.
There's another one on Saturday, which I'm going to save for the Friday show. We'll get into it with Algeria. There's a whole history lesson, which I'm going to spare House from. But the disgrace of Guillaume, part 2. Now we're going to Kansas City, potentially brewing. So there's fun permutations. I wrote a piece for The Ringer, which is up now, which gets into the 8 matchups you need to watch. There's 24 games. There's 8 you really should watch. I highlighted those 8.
You have bets on those 8?
Most of them, yeah.
Okay, good.
Perfect.
I just want to know how many bets I have of these 24.
Well, so
like 7 bets, 6
can
bets.
Get into
8 of 24 is a good, right? That's a good ratio.
You can get into the Swiss. I mean, if you have not bet a Swiss group future, which I bet pre-tournament minus 110, they are now plus 130 to win the group. So we're a little behind, but they're playing Canada today for the group. I think they're going to win. Wouldn't be shocked if they drew, and that would be bad for us. But I think they're the better team, and I think Kone is actually a big loss for Canada. They lost one of their best midfielders to a brutal leg injury in the last match. And then, I'm not betting Qatar. I'm sorry. I think Bosnia is overinflated, but I'm not betting on Qatar at all. And then tonight, we're going to talk a little later in the show what I like for the night matches.
Wonderful.
There you go. If you like our bet, if you like our parlay, it will be live on the FanDuel app. Don't forget to check out all the great soccer offerings that they have all tournament long. FanDuel, play your game. Let's get to plays of the day for Wednesday. House, what do you have for us, and what do you have for the people?
Yeah, I'm going inside. It's Major League Baseball. We're now officially in the season where the only stuff to get into on a daily basis. You got your baseball and your WNBA schedule. Thank God for the World Cup to sort of, add to it. But I'm going inside of a baseball matchup. This is the Mariners and the Pirates. I don't know, about the level of excitement for this tilt, but I'm looking at Braxton Ashcroft over 5.5 strikeouts. It's available to FanDuel Sportsbook at -138. This is one of these situations where he's a right-hander, Ashcroft, with a filthy curve, and the lineup for Seattle has all gone cold all at once. Less than 589 OPS lately, and a bunch of lefties coming into the lineup today. So just 6 strikeouts for my guy Ashcroft. The Mariners have a proclivity to swing and miss, one of the worst over the last few weeks in terms of the strikeout rate, and especially against righties. So 6 strikeouts for my guy Braxton Ashcroft of the Pittsburgh Pirates. I know that now, and so does his family.
I like it. I like the call. I have a lot of Mariners fans in my life, and they're not happy about how things are going right now. So I think you're on the right side there, House.
How?
What do you mean?
Your family from Seattle?
Yeah, my fiance from Seattle.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yes.
A lot of Mariners fans. Love Big Dumper. You know what I mean? Gotta love the Big Dumper.
Big Dumper's been taking a big dump this season.
Yeah, he's been dumping everywhere, not in a good way. Dabbundo, your play of the day. What do you like?
I'm not going to sing the Flower of Scotland, but I will be singing it around 6-7 o'clock tonight when that game kicks off. I'm so excited for this game. We have the Tartan Army is in Miami to take on the Samba Kings of Brazil. If they can survive the heat, I think this is going to be a really fun matchup because it's a fascinating game theory situation. Brazil needs to win, and by margin, most likely, to win the group because Morocco gets to play Haiti at the same time. Brazil has a 2-goal advantage, but Morocco gets the weaker opponent, and they're going to have a chance to potentially run up a bigger score. So Brazil needs to keep scoring. Scotland is in 3rd place right now. If they lose by a goal, they're like 97% to advance. However, with every goal they allow beyond the 1 goal, their odds of advancing get worse because the goal difference at 3 points is almost certainly going to matter. So Scotland could either draw or win and advance easily. For the first time in the history of Scotland, they could make the knockout stage of the World Cup. Or they lose by like 3, 4, and it's like, uh-oh, are we going to blow this, right? So Scotland's a very defensive team. I think they're going to be very conservative in their approach. If they go 1-0 down, right, a lot of teams would say, hey, we got to come out, we got to try to score. I don't know that they necessarily need to do that. I think they might still play very conservatively. So I think catching the goal and a half here, Brazil will not have Rafinha in their attack. He's a very dynamic in-behind player that I think has a great matchup in theory, but he's out injured, so he won't be able to contribute to this. I have a lot of questions about Brazil's midfield, and I have a lot of questions about Brazil's defense. So I think Scotland can keep this tight. I'm going Scots plus 1.5, -115, and I'm excited to see what I think will be a 1-goal Brazil win as Scotland does just enough to book their spot and a potential trip to Mexico in the round of 32.
I like it. I like the conservative approach there for the Scots. I have a Brazilian neighbor, and I just heard him during the first game just absolutely agonizing over everything that was happening. I thought like something was happening in his house, and then I realized Brazil was playing. So they've not been very happy with what's happening so far in this tournament. So Scotland can give him another sword there in that game. I like that call. We mentioned this earlier. I'm going to take Switzerland over Canada to win outright, plus 140. I think the Swiss win the group. Dabbundo mentioned some of the reasons why. I think Canada is trending in the wrong direction. I think the Swiss is the best team in the group, so I think they get it done today and they win that game. And if you like them to win the group, maybe you parlay that, right, Dabbundo? You put them together, plus 130, plus 140. I don't know how that looks, but I take them to win over Canada today.
I happily second that.
Right.
Let's get it home.
About that. I was worried I was going to give that out, and Dabbundo was going to be like, "You're an idiot. What are you talking about?" So
no. We support the Swiss here. Okay. I think both teams will like their chances of making the round of 16 either way. The loser of this game probably plays South Korea on Sunday, and the winner of this game probably gets a 3rd place team. I'm not sure who exactly yet, but they'll feel pretty good about their chances of making the round of 16. I think both get there.
Okay, great. Love to hear it. House, any parting shots, any last thoughts here before we get out of here?
Well, there is golf this weekend. The last
Travelers.
signature event. It is a fun golf tournament. So if you get in between the soccer games, flip over. It'll be, I think it's on NBC. And yeah, this is you 72 of the best players in the world. All top 20, with the exception of Rory McIlroy. This tournament always produces drama down the stretch. I don't know if everybody remembers poor Tommy Fleetwood choking it away last year. Keegan Bradley snatching this tournament out from under poor Tommy. But the closing holes are super fun to watch. So at least watch Sunday late afternoon. I've got some action on it. I like Colin Morikawa this week. That would be my parting shot.
I like it. I'm a Schauffele guy. I think Schauffele gets a win
That'd be
this
see
week. So I would love to see Xander to get back into the mix. So I like that. Travers is going to be a fun tournament. Dabbundo, any parting shots? Any last thoughts for the people?
It's going to be weird to have to root for Turkey for our parlay. I don't know if I like that. I didn't really think that through when we were making the picks. I was like, wait a second. Now I got to root for against the US.
We're fading our feelings. I think that's it.
Yeah, I won't even be upset if they lose. I mean, it is what it is. We're on to Wednesday. We're looking forward as an Usman fan, and we're excited for the chaos. I mean, France, Norway on Friday, Portugal, Colombia, some of these crazy back and forth games with potentials for handshake draws. The final round of the group stage always brings the drama. It's time to break out the second TV.
Oh, yeah.
Second dual screens. We have concurrent matches. It's going to be electric.
Yeah, it's going to be great. World Cup, best time. Appreciate everybody tuning in to the Ringer Gambling Show. We will be back later in the week. We will see you then. Hope everybody enjoys the World Cup. Hope they enjoy our picks of the day. And let's, fingers crossed, knock on wood, that the parlay hits. And we will see you all later in the week.
You must be 21 or older and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 or older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE/NY or text Hope New York in New York. For Louisiana, call 1-877-770-7867.